Hello YouTube and welcome back to Psychology Every Day, day 48. Today I want to talk to you about some of the best books that I've read. I actually got a request for a book recommendation and I'm happy to give it to you. However, first I wanted to show you the office that I've been working on, my YouTube room, as I was talking about. I found my displayed poster, Big Man Freud, Leonidas, Jung, and at my desk, I have a picture of Italy that I like to look at. So I work harder and, so I can afford getting a house or a place in Italy. Today, I won't need to clean my porch door or whatever. It's very dirty. However, when talking about books in psychology and stuff like that, you have to realize that some of the people who have written books in psychology and whatever really suck at writing, which is a huge problem because even if the ideas are interesting, if you can't read the book because it's so dull and dry, it doesn't really matter, right? Then you're better off watching like me on YouTube or some other psychologist or someone who likes to read books and then talk about it. I love reading books. These are just some of my books, and a lot of these I've read 20 times. I actually lost like two boxes of books with half of my Harry Potter collection. And I have, my main school books here. Maybe some Stephen King books slipped in there, but I'm gonna clean it up and, get everything sorted. Then I have books here. And like I said, lost a bunch of books, but let's talk about these books. I don't know how. Should I do it like a selfie manner, like 50% me and, 50% books? Let's not, actually. Let's just focus. So, Carl Jung, you are what you say you do, not what... You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Talking about, identity is not your own construction. It's something that happens. Leonidas, whatever it takes, right? So these are my top 4 books. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca is the best, Stoicism books. Love them. Very easy to read. Of course, the Bible has to be there, or you'll end up in hell or whatever. These 3 are very good. The How of Happiness, super good positive psychology book that talks about happiness and how it works and what makes us happy. Anna Freud and its defense mechanisms, very good book, but boring, hard to read. Maybe you should, read Dream Interpretation of Freud, Sigmund instead. I don't have it here, it's actually in one of my chests. This is an amazing book. Super duper recommend this book for anyone that wants to start and get into psychology. And basically, it is 40 of the biggest studies with, famous concepts like cognitive dissonance and stuff like that. And it's very easy to read, and each study and each concept has its own like 5 pages. So you can just choose one, and each one of them is great. Super duper recommend this book for everyone. However, today I want to talk about my favorite book, which is this one. Now, the problem with Jung's books is that this one and many others like it is like a collection of various sort of lectures. So he didn't actually write this book. But also I want to talk about don't ever read a book about Jung or Jungian psychology that is written by someone else. The same with Freud. Don't ever read Freudian psychology by anyone else than Freud, because these people are not as good as Freud, and they're not even good enough to write something themselves, so they just, latch on to the genius of the old ones. Rant over. Anyway, So everything in this book is original work by Jung, but it's from different books and, taken from verbal lectures and stuff like that. And with, Freud, Jung, Adler, this is quite common, and you have to sort of try and get a feel for each book until you find one that really sticks. And it really depends on how deep into that person you are, because this is a very hard book to read if you don't know anything at all about psychology, but if you do, it is just mind-blowingly good, right? And so you need to start with something easier, like the 40 Studies, or you can start with the Jung's autobiography if you're interested in Jung. But then you have to sort of look through a bunch of his books, and some of them are really gonna suck. But it will be worth it in the end, because these books, some of them are in libraries, but oftentimes they just cost like $2 or $3. So it's not a huge waste if you buy one, read 50 pages, and you're like, this sucks. But just you should know that each one of these books oftentimes has a chapter in the beginning that is written by someone else, and you need to skip that because they always suck. And don't judge the book by the first chapter that is written by someone else, because if I did, I would never read anything, because these people just want to sound a lot smarter than they are and complicate things, which sucks. Anyway, so that one is a real. You have this one if you're interested in one of the goats in clinical psychology. He basically elevated active listening to an art form following Freud's ideas. However, Rogers is not as Freudian by any means. And that is basically the book recommendations that I have. There are lots of good books. You have Nietzsche, Jordan Peterson, and many others. Here, however, these books are a bit hard to read, and I wouldn't recommend them to a beginner at all, because books should be fun, should be interesting, should be easy to read, and they should keep you hooked. And that is why I really recommend this book and this book to begin with. Have a great day, everyone. It's a day outside, and I'm gonna make sure to get some sun. Goodbye.